Welcome to the RadioU podcast. Coming up, why always a bridesmaid, never a bride sounds even worse than before.
Also, is any celebrity truly safe from the Ozempic pressure?
All that and more on the way next. The NBA season has begun. Every team has played one game except for the Nuggets and Pacers for some reason. Allie, I know you were paying attention last night. After one game for every team in the league, basically. What is your first NBA takeaway?
Ooh, first NBA takeaway. I don't know if I have one yet. I mean, there's a lot of teams that have some injuries to start off the season. Like last night I was watching the Knicks-Cavs. Knicks had some injuries. Cavs have a lot of injuries. At least 3 players out right now. And so it's kind of hard to get a full gist of how everybody's going to be. You know, we saw the Lakers a couple nights ago. LeBron's out right now. And we saw Luka put up a 43 burger, and yet they still lost.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, it's hard to tell how things are going to pan out. It's a long season. So, yeah, I don't know.
How are guys injured? The season just started.
I mean, I think a lot of it is just like they had surgeries in the off season, and they're still recovering from that. Or, they got injured at some point during the off season and they just need a little extra time. Sometimes it can be a lingering injury from last season. I don't know.
You think it's any of it's like there's 81 more games, so like what's the big deal about playing the first 20?
I don't know if that's the case. Maybe for some, they might be just resting them just because, they're like, well, we have time. We don't need to rush you out.
Okay. I don't have any takeaways from the games.
Yeah.
Because, you kind of just nailed it. It's basically the preseason still. But my takeaway is Charles Barkley.
Oh.
Did you see him on Inside the NBA?
Yes, I did.
He looks like a different person. He's lost so much weight.
He looks like his days when he was actually playing.
Yeah, he actually does.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I don't remember Charles Barkley playing in the league, but I've seen I remember him in Space Jam. And he actually, I feel like as long as he's been on TV, he's known as a bigger guy. Yeah. Obviously, he's tall. But when he was in the NBA, it's not like he was thick.
No. He was always kind of like a sturdy, bigger figure.
Yeah.
He wasn't skinny, but he wasn't like a stick.
Right.
But he was also not, you wouldn't consider him fat. You wouldn't consider him overweight. But as he got older, he certainly had a little bit of a chubby look, I guess. But yeah, he's lost almost all of that. He looks completely different. I saw a tweet that had comparisons from the first day of the NBA last season and then to yesterday. He looks totally different.
He looks completely different. He says he has been working out, but he also did mention that he's been taking one of the shots.
I
don't think he specifically specified which one, but whether it's Ozempic or Wegovy or whatever, it's working.
It's definitely working. Well, we know it works. We see so many celebrities using it, and we've heard from, other people that use it as well. But I feel like celebrities, they have the benefit of not only being able to take those, but also they've got personal trainers and chefs that can make them all these nice meals and everything at home. So yeah, they can lose that weight real quick when they have the help of all of that.
Yeah, well, Charles had that the whole time. Chuck had that all the time, and it wasn't enough. But then he got on the shot, and all of a sudden,
it's like a miracle worker.
Yeah, he's looking sharp. Shout out to a king, an absolute legend in Japan. A 38-year-old man who over the past 2 years has used a delivery app to gain over 1,000 free meals.
Oh my gosh.
This is the
crazy.
Dream. This is the dream.
That's a scam.
This is what we hope for.
What? You hope to be a scammer?
It wasn't a scam.
This is a scam. What are you talking about?
He was exploiting a loophole, and now the loophole has been closed.
Scams are exploitative. We know this.
He wasn't scamming. Well, he was kind of lying, but
that's a scam.
He was simply taking advantage of a system that was waiting to be taken advantage of.
You're giving all of the tenets of scam.
I think that this man, somebody was going to do it. Somebody had to do it.
And now he's paying the price.
He is paying the price. This is a man, he went to incredible lengths, I think in part because he's unemployed.
Oh, okay.
So he had the time to devote to this to truly, which actually may have been his downfall.
Yeah.
If he had a job and did this on a much more like reasonable scale, he may have never gotten caught.
Well, here's the thing. I say this all the time about people that do scams. I'm like, if they could take that creativity and that energy and put it into something good, channel it into something better, then it would be to their benefit.
But it was good for him.
Now
He ate 1,000 free meals
he
in
was
2 years.
arrested.
That's like a meal a day or 2 meals a day.
Well, now he's paying for it with jail time. So
Yeah.
did it really work out for him? I don't think so.
He's been arrested. He hasn't been sentenced yet, right? I mean, what is he guilty of exactly?
Fraud?
So here's what he did. He set up, in total, 124 accounts on a Japanese delivery app. Some of these were under false names and fake addresses. Okay, so this is where he went too far. He also used prepay cards to register and then canceled those cards so that like it wouldn't be traced back to him, right?
Oh, okay.
So what he would do is he'd place an order in the app, choose contact-free delivery, then say that the order never arrived, which means he would get a refund and also get the food for free because it actually did arrive.
Right.
So this would be something, again, he wound up totaling over $24,000 worth of food doing this.
Oh, my goodness.
He went too far. He flew too close to the sun is his problem. If he just could have kept it reasonable, no one would have ever known.
Or if he could have just been honest, and only reported when food that didn't show up, that he was truthful. If it didn't show up, then he would get a refund.
Yeah, that is true, but then he wouldn't have been getting his meals for free.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be getting his meals for free. No one should be getting their meals for free if they're ordering it through a delivery service. They're supposed to order. They're supposed to pay.
You're supposed to, but if you can find a hack, an infinite money glitch to be able to get it for free, what are you supposed to do? Not use it?
This is not an infinite money glitch.
It was
He's
for
in
2
jail.
years.
He's been arrested.
I'm just telling
What's
you,
infinite about that?
he went a little too far. He took it a little too far. But here's my thing is, Allie, is this like, am I having an Ebenezer Scrooge moment?
Are you having an Ebenezer Scrooge moment?
Yeah. Is this the ghost of Christmas future?
Oh, like you're
Showing-
like, money.
Yeah, this could be me. Like now me with the monopoly at McDonald's. They know me at McDonald's because I go in and you can only get one free thing on your phone, right? If you can only use one coupon. But if you go in and put in each order individually on the kiosk, it just lets you keep using all the orders.
And you do that every day?
Yeah, I do. I get like a meal's worth of food every day. I'm not unreasonable about it. That's the difference between him and I. Also, McDonald's is giving me this free food.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a big difference between you getting the food from McDonald's and just straight up lying. Because he's lying. He's saying the food didn't arrive when it did.
Yeah, he did lie. He took it a little too far. But this is the thing. Like sometimes you don't realize you're taking it too far until it's too late.
Well, he certainly didn't
whatever
realize.
the next deal that comes my way is, that I'm like, oh, I can look at how I can profit off of this. Look at how I can eat for free.
Maybe.
And then I realize at one point when the cops arrive that this was more than just a deal.
This was a problem.
This was a scam.
Maybe what you should how you should judge if you're taking it too far or not is, does this require me to lie? Does this require me to not tell the truth?
Right.
If the answer is yes, then I would say don't do that thing.
Yeah, lying is wrong. But if it's just something where you feel a little bit of shame about it and you just have to put that to the side, that's okay. And that's what I'm doing. This is so funny to me. 8772 RadioU. Remember earlier this week how apparently the whole internet went down?
I didn't know that this happened, but I saw articles after it happened where it was like, oh my goodness, Amazon went down.
Yeah.
Or, all of these web services and a bunch of sites connected and hosted by these web services went down because of it.
It was on Monday when Amazon Web Services went down. It was a widespread outage. But it was funny because Michael came in, our boss, after the show, and he was like, did the web outage cause any problems for you? I was like, What web outage?
I
don't
didn't
know
even-
how we did the show without noticing.
I didn't even notice any difference. And also, I didn't even notice that Michael asked that question. Because I don't remember that at all.
Well, while it didn't affect us too much, although it did last for much of the day on Monday, and I did, after the show, start to notice like some sites not working exactly right. And I was like, oh, that must be why.
I didn't notice at all.
But some people definitely noticed, people that had 8 Sleep smart beds, because the Amazon Web Service outage caused these beds to overheat or get stuck in an upright position, like you would be sitting up. And remember, the outage started at it was 3:30, 4 a.m. Eastern time.
Oh, no.
So that's prime sleep time, of course, for most people. And I just love the thought. I guess I feel sorry for these people, but I also just love the thought of you spent thousands of dollars to get a smart bed. Why? I don't know. But you wake up to it cooking you alive or making you sit up in the middle of the night. That is a hilarious image to me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't want a bed that can be, that can malfunction based off of a website going down.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That shouldn't happen. That should not be able to happen at all.
Well, the CEO of 8 Sleep, Matteo Franceschetti, says that he's apologized, and he says the company is going to outage-proof the beds so that this won't happen again.
Why wasn't it outage-proof to begin with?
I just don't know why you need a smart bed.
I don't either.
Truly, what is the bed going to tell you?
Hasn't the beds the beds that control temperature and the beds that incline, those have been around for a long time.
Yeah, that's like Sleep Number beds.
Right. And so to me, I don't understand why you need to connect it to the Wi-Fi to be able to control those things.
To optimize your sleep. To get data about how you slept, how much you tossed and turned when you did whatever, and then it can tell you about that, and so you can feel bad about how you didn't sleep right.
Right.
Or the next day, you can come into work and be like, not going to get much done today. Check out this sleep score.
Yeah, look at my sleep number.
It was real bad.
It was not good.
Do not expect anything from me today. I mean, I'll be here because I have to be, but
my productivity is going to be real low. That's what my app says.
Don't blame me. Blame the bed. It's the bed. The bed's telling me so. I love having that excuse.
Yeah, that's a great excuse.
But you think about how much these people spend on these beds, and they woke up burning from it overheating.
That's terrible.
Who's on top and who's not? It's First to Worst on Radio U.
So Allie and I each choose our first and worst choices from a given topic, and you decide which one of us chose better and which picks we missed. 8772 Radio U. Today's topic, in honor of Halloween, horror movie franchises. These are, I think the qualification is, it has to be a horror movie that has had multiple iterations of it come out in theaters.
Yes.
All right, Allie, you definitely have the advantage in this.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, because I haven't watched a lot of horror movies because I'm too scared. But you also get the first pick.
Yes. Okay, so I feel like it would be disingenuous if I did not pick this franchise as my first, because I know I've mentioned this before, but every Halloween I watch the entire franchise because it's my favorite. So I'm going with Scream for first. I think it's a classic one. I think that it's just something that Wes Craven put a lot of love into, and it has a lot of great pop culture references that we love. That first movie is such a standout that even though there's some later on sequels that are not as good, I think the first one helps overcome that. For worst, I'm going with Paranormal Activity.
Really?
Yeah, the first one I think actually stands up somewhat okay, but the rest of them are so trash that it just brings the franchise down, and just it loses all of its credibility and weight because they go out of control with them, and they're also just not very well made because it's like found footage, and so there's a good way and a bad way to do found footage, and I think Paranormal Activity sometimes leans into what I would consider a pretty cheesy bad way to do found footage. Because we've seen good horror movies that are found footage films, and Paranormal Activity just isn't that most
Yeah.
of the time. So that's what I'm going with.
That's interesting. I definitely don't disagree. I've seen Paranormal Activity. I've seen several of the however many there are.
There's so many of them.
But yeah, I never thought any of them were that good. But the first one is very highly, I thought, more thought of. So
It definitely is because it's actually based on a true story. But after that, they're like, we're just making stuff up.
yeah. Okay. For me, I had a tough time deciding at first because there's just really not any true horror franchises that I really enjoy. It was down between two different options, and I'm going to go with the Evil Dead series.
Ah, that's a great one.
Just because it also blends in like some pretty good comedy with it. Just kind of the B movie aspect to it. I think kind of I enjoy that a little bit, even though they're still a bit too gory for me to truly embrace. So I'm going with Evil Dead for first. My worst, I think I have to go with Saw.
Oh.
I don't think there's much going on with Saw besides torture and gore.
Yeah.
And I always think to myself, like, I would be the worst person for Jigsaw to kidnap because I would just be like, okay, I'm done.
Just kill me.
Yeah. I am out. I have no will to live, no will to survive whatsoever if I have to go through this.
Yeah.
And so I would probably maim myself before watching one of those movies. So Saw it is for me for worst. And they've made a lot of those.
They've made so many of them.
877 Radio U. Which of us had better picks for the first and worst horror movie franchises? And which picks did we miss? Allie had her picks once again are.
I went with Scream for first. I went with Paranormal Activity for worst.
And I have Evil Dead for first and Saw for worst. 877 Radio U. Let us know your thoughts. We'll see what people are saying for this first to worst coming up. We're doing first to worst. Today's topic, horror movie franchises, the best and worst in honor of Halloween coming up next week. Allie had the first pick, and you went with?
I went with Scream for first, and I went with Paranormal Activity for worst.
And I have Evil Dead as the first, and I have Saw as the worst. Let us know your thoughts, which of us picked better, and which picks did we miss at 877 Radio U. Some good votes and good thoughts coming in. Justin says Resident Evil for first. How do you feel about those movies?
Resident Evil, I like the first few, but after that, I kind of trail off. And so I think that's...
Isn't that true of basically every horror movie franchise?
I feel like every franchise has that format. But I kind of forgot about the ones he mentioned as worst, which were the Cloverfield movies. I forgot those even existed.
I didn't think the one with John Goodman that was on Netflix, I didn't think that was that bad. Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've seen that one.
Yeah, that is in the Cloverfield-averse, but there's no, like, it's, I don't know. It's connected, but I also don't know the lore as much.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised that's his pick for worst.
Yeah, he said that was his picks for worst, so he didn't really vote for either of us. He just shared what his thoughts were. We heard from Jesse this morning. He says his first is Friday the 13th. His friends and him always get together to watch them on Friday the 13th every year. And he says he's agreeing with me for the worst being Paranormal Activity.
I was looking at the list, at a list to prepare for this, and Friday the 13th came in as the worst.
What?
But they were doing it based off of like the scores for each of the movies that were
like
released
Rotten
in theaters.
Tomatoes, yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
Friday the 13th has no single movie at all, not even the first one, was rated highly at all.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's kind of like one thing where it's not well regarded by critics, but it's well regarded by fans. As Jesse says, there's a huge cult following.
They made like 20 of them.
Right.
Somebody's got to be there for it.
There's something addicting about them.
Brandon says, Alley by a Country Mile, Screaming is an amazing franchise. Can't wait to go see the new one.
Yes. Thank you, Brandon. We heard from Susanna this morning. I love her comment. She goes, voting for Hudson because I always very much dislike horror. Plus, the effort he puts into saying horror is always funny.
I'm just trying to not get in trouble.
I don't know why you're so worried about that, but
you have to enunciate.
You're calling more attention to it by saying like that, in my opinion.
Our job is to get attention. William said, haven't seen any horror movie franchises, including both of our number one picks. But I'll agree that Paranormal Activity is worse than Saw. I've seen one movie of each of those, so going with Allie.
All right.
I think here's my thing about Paranormal Activity, that I couldn't pick it as worst, because as somebody who doesn't like horror movie franchises at all, Paranormal Activity, not that bad, because it's also not very scary.
Well, that's
Which
exactly
makes it bad.
It's not that scary. It's not that entertaining. We heard from Tanya as well. She says she mentions the Conjuring movies or Annabelle. I didn't go with Conjuring, even though I like the first Conjuring movie. I feel like it just hasn't had the history as some of these other franchises, and not as beloved as like a Scream franchise. I think there's just a lot of nostalgia wrapped up in those. But I do think it's a good franchise. She said for worse, she would go with any of the slasher movies like Freddy Krueger. So that's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. We heard from Regina. She said, Allie wins. Scream is great. Saw for the craziness off the twisted storyline intrigued me. After binge watching the first 5, though, I need to turn it off as it was making my mind too dark.
It is very dark. I don't think I made it through the third one. I watched the first 2, and the third one I was like, I'm out. I can't do it.
That is insane.
The torture, gore, horror, because that's like a subset of horror. So you're talking about like Hostel, Saw, those type of movies. I'm not really into those ones. I like the psychological ones more.
Regina also mentioned A Quiet Place, which that would be a great pick for first. I've loved every Quiet Place movie I've watched. I don't know if I would say that's horror.
Yeah, I think, again, it's more of a subset. It follows more thriller aspects versus, and like edge of your seat.
Yeah.
But it definitely does have some horror things to it.
Yeah. I mean, that's about the horror that I can handle. We have like a dozen more votes of people to get to.
So many comments.
We'll have to come back on this. First to worst, we did horror movies. Let us know your favorite and worst horror movie franchises, and we'll see more of these votes coming in. We're still doing first to worst. Today's topic, horror movies, horror movie franchises. 8772 Radio, you let us know who made better picks. Allie, your first and worst horror movie franchises are?
I went with Scream for first, and I went with Paranormal Activity for worst.
And I went with Evil Dead as first and Saw as worst. We've gotten so many votes on this. We left off with Jessica, who says, I'm voting for Allie. Scream is such a staple for our generation, and Paranormal Activities were just not good.
Yeah, they weren't a great time. Heard from Hannah this morning. She says she's not a big horror movie fan, but she has to go with Scream too, and worse for Saw. So I guess she's voting for both of us.
Yeah, that's a tie. Justin says, I enjoyed the spoofs of the Scream movie, so I'll go with Allie.
Oh, he enjoyed Scary Movie?
I guess so, yeah. I thought about Scary Movie.
That's hilarious because Dave just texted in and he said, for worse, the Scary Movie franchise.
No. Sorry, Justin. And Christy got in and said, Allie's choices today for sure.
All right.
I thought if we kept counting votes, maybe eventually I would take the lead. But no.
Sorry. I will say, though, I love Evil Dead, but I do think you picked one of the franchises that's underrated.
Yeah,
and
that's
so people
true.
just don't know it as well as like a Scream. It doesn't have the pop culture like
yeah. I mean, they've made a lot of them and they made shows about it, but yeah, it's just not quite as, not the box office draw. Although, isn't there a new one coming out?
I think there is.
Yeah. So.
But I love the Evil Dead movies, so I think it's a great pick, but a more underrated one. But I had to go with Scream because I've mentioned this many times.
Yeah, you have.
I watch them every Halloween, and I just started my rewatch on Tuesday with the first one. Oh, man, that cold open, so good.
Jacob got a vote in too. He says going with Allie 100%. Also, Saw is amazing.
Wow, so he was a lover of Saw. Is
it wrong that I just kind of think something might be off mentally about everybody, including Jacob, that enjoys Saw movies?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I want to go that far, but I just think to each their own. You know, everybody has a different thing that they like. For me,
yeah,
it's not
but
really
if it's like people getting maimed and tortured,
yeah,
that seems problematic to me. But you know what? I will concede on this one, and I don't even feel bad about it because I'm glad. I guess I don't know.
I'm the horror movie aficionado.
You are, yeah, you are the horror movie aficionado. Congratulations on your win. If someone asked you to be their bridesmaid, just say no. 8772 Radio U. Why? Because it's expensive.
Oh.
And I mean, honestly, everybody probably knows going into it that, like, yeah, it's going to cost you money to be involved in a wedding, right?
Yeah.
But now we have some hard numbers to show just exactly how expensive it is to be involved in the wedding party. This new survey here finds that on average, for a local wedding, not even a destination wedding, you're talking $1,500 to $2,500 spent on things like dresses, shoes, makeup, hair, gifts, and like the bachelorette party, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
And what do you get for that?
I don't know.
Memories?
I mean, yeah. I will tell you, though, I've been in 3 weddings as a bridesmaid, and I've never had to pay that amount of money.
Really?
Not one time.
Yeah. Was it all family every time?
It was my sister for one, my brother's wedding, so my now sister-in-law for another, and then a friend from college for another one.
Okay.
And there were different costs for each one. Had to buy my dress and my shoes for each one, which is expected.
Yeah.
But also the bride never put she never gave us a dress option that was like super expensive. I think the most I paid for a dress was like $99. So that's pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
The bridal world.
You got lucky.
Yeah, I did. I got lucky with very reasonable brides. And we still did like bachelorette trips and stuff like that. But we all split the cost among all the bridesmaids. We didn't make the bride pay for anything.
Of course, yeah.
You know, and then we would take turns on that trip to pay for the bride's food. And so it'd be like, okay, you've got the bride's food for this meal. You've got the bride's food for this meal. And so it wasn't like one person had all of the cost. And yeah, I never paid anywhere close to any of the amounts listed here.
Yeah. Well, also, we're talking just about local weddings where you're talking $1,500 to $2,500 is the average. If it's a destination wedding, then you're thinking $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going far away,
Yeah.
like let's say you're going, I don't know, I don't even know where you would go, but like just like somewhere where you have to fly overseas,
Yeah.
and you have to pay for a hotel and all of that stuff, I could definitely see the price definitely increase.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking if I used to be against destination weddings, but now I'm like, if we're spending all this money anyways, might as well at least make it like a vacation. You know what I
Sure,
mean? Like make it fun for
sure.
me too. They say that basically the average cost of being a bridesmaid is about equal to the average monthly rent that anybody's paying.
Wow.
Think about I guess that's probably a good way to think about it. Like if somebody does ask you to be in a wedding,
Yeah.
think this is going to cost me a month of rent.
Yeah.
And then think, do you like that friend that much to spend that much money on them? All you get out of it is making them happy.
Yeah.
I think it's just gone too far.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think the wedding industry in total, overall, very expensive. And I do get people want to make their wedding special. They want to have great memories, great photos, great video of that day. But the cost has gotten out of hand.
It definitely has. And so I really want to hammer this home. Just normalize saying no. You don't have to be a part of the wedding.
Yeah, if you can't afford to do it, you definitely don't need to.
You can go and you can say no, and it shouldn't ruin the friendship. So for bridesmaids, or for the brides too, normalize accepting no.
Yeah.
Just because they can't afford to be in your wedding doesn't mean they're not your friend.
Or also just maybe don't make it super expensive. It's possible.
Yeah.
So Hudson, I was thinking about this yesterday. When we look at the image of the cross, we kind of view it as something where it's like, oh yeah, that's a symbol of Christianity. Jesus died on the cross, that type of thing. And we just automatically assume that's what it is, which it is. That is the truth about the cross. But I was trying to think, let's go back to Jesus's day and think about what the cross signified then. The cross in Jesus's time was a symbol of Roman power, oppression, just death, despair, and hopelessness. And, actually where Jesus was crucified, it was literally the hill he's crucified on is called the skull. So like everything about Jesus's death was just like depressing death. The Roman Empire has won and death has won. And yet we now look at that symbol as one of hope and triumph and freedom And so it's interesting to me to look at that and see, God's greatest miracle, which was that he sent his son Jesus to die for us, to redeem us. And he turns this symbol that people saw as only hopelessness, as your life was an utter failure. If you ended up on a cross, if you ended up crucified in that time, your life was a failure. Something went terribly wrong.
You were publicly being shamed and killed in front of everybody.
Exactly. All it was just shame and guilt and just awfulness. Like it was that type of death was saved for the lowest of the low, the worst of the worst. And yet Jesus walked into that. He entered into that death, into that hopelessness and despair. And now he made that symbol that was nothing but failure. And he turned it into one of freedom and triumph over sin and over death. Like, how powerful is that?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, imagine if you were somebody from that time and you saw how much the cross is around now.
Right.
And then somebody explained it to you like, well, this is what it means now. That would blow your mind.
Right.
And you think if God can do that with a simple symbol and change its meaning completely, think about what he can do with your life, that you might think your life is despair and guilt and shame and whatever it is, or just maybe just not all that worthwhile, not all that important, but God can turn it into something amazing, turning it into something so meaningful. That's the kind of power that Jesus has.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. If you think to yourself sometimes, you know what, my life is an utter failure. I mess up all the time and I don't know if I can change. Look what God did with the cross. Look at how he changed that narrative entirely. He can do that for you. That greatest miracle that I referred to, that is a free gift that God invites you into. That's grace that he invites you into. When Jesus died for us on the cross, that's an open invitation to you. Think about this. This should blow our minds. The God of the universe loves you so much, he wants to spend eternity with you. He wants a relationship with you. He wants to know you. And all you have to do is say yes to that.
If you want to know more about that, RadioU.com/free gift. Six Flags has fallen on hard times. An American institution is struggling.
Oh, no.
8772-RadioU, but you'll never guess who's coming along to save it.
Okay.
Travis Kelce.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's really odd.
Travis Kelce is part of an investment group that just purchased a large ownership stake in Six Flags Entertainment.
Okay.
With the hopes, here's the quote, is the group plans to engage with Six Flags management and board of directors to discuss ways to enhance shareholder value and improve visitor experience. Like the Six Flags Entertainment Board wasn't already trying to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure they're invested in its success as well, Travis Kelce. But wow, this is an interesting, I guess, just like business tactic.
Yeah.
For this group that Travis Kelce is a part of for some reason.
Maybe it's just being a smart businessman, a buy the dip type of thing.
Yeah.
Six Flags has had some tough times. They lost $319 million the first half of this year.
Wow.
Their attendance fell 9% in the early summer, and they claim now they have an explanation for that. Why they're going to bounce back is it was bad weather and a challenged consumer. But I guess
inflation running rampant.
It is, but I feel like us consumers are still going to continue to be challenged for a while here.
Yeah, I don't know
There's
if
no
I
end
see
in
a light
sight.
at the end of the tunnel there yet, Six Flags.
You can't bank on that, that's for sure.
No.
But maybe Travis Kelce has some ideas, the kind of ideas that Six Flags needs.
Yeah.
Maybe just making things cheaper to help the challenged consumer.
Maybe, but I feel like what really hurts Six Flags is I remember when I was a kid, Six Flags had really fun roller coasters, big roller coasters, and people talked about them. I don't hear people talk about Six Flags rides anymore. Like we talk about the new Disney rides,
Sure,
the new attractions, the new Universal Park, and all of those things that are happening. But like Six Flags, we don't hear about that anymore. Like, we maybe talk about some of the new rides coming to Cedar Point, but we don't talk about anything with Six Flags. So they just need to get themselves in the news again.
They can't afford to build new exciting rides because they're losing so much money.
Yeah, that's true. Well, maybe what they need to do is like revamp some of the rides they currently have.
Yeah.
That might be a cheaper way to go about it.
That could be the way to do it, or just bring back that dancing old man. That's another idea. Travis Kelce said, the chance to help make Six Flags special for the next generation is one I couldn't pass up.
That's so funny because also he's from Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
If you're from Ohio, you know that the park that you grew up going to was not Six Flags.
Yeah.
It was Cedar Point.
Right.
So I guess he just maybe likes amusement parks.
Maybe he traveled around a lot as a child.
Well, he doesn't have Cedar Point in Kansas City.
No, that's true. Don't they have a Six Flags near there?
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. He also just seems I just get a lot of that he just likes embracing nostalgia.
Yeah, that's true.
And Six Flags seems nostalgic at this point for somebody Travis Kelce's age.
Right. He just brought back the backyard football.
Right.
That game to mobile phones now. So I don't know. We'll see. If this changes the outlook for Six Flags or not.
I have one more idea for how maybe Travis Kelce can help juice up the Six Flags brand.
Oh, it's him and Taylor coming to Six Flags.
Yeah, and naming all the roller coasters after her songs. Wouldn't you want to tell me you wouldn't ride the Cruel Summer? That sounds amazing.
I don't know if I personally would get behind that, but the Swifties would be all in.
The Bad Blood. That sounds so fun.
Oh, I don't know if I want to ride the Bad Blood. Thanks for listening to the Radio U podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.